I really love this bike, but there is one thing that's super annoying, and it's how much noise these cables make when they're rattling around inside here. There's absolutely nothing stopping them from hitting the side of the carbon. I don't know if you can see in there, but they're just cables basically floating around in there. And when they get just enough slack, they rattle all around. And it sounds like you're riding a Walmart bike. So I am going to try and remedy that by shoving something in this tube to keep these things still. Wish me luck.
So yeah, that's pretty loud. And you might be thinking that it's the cables bouncing around in front of the handlebars, well, because two of them are loose. But it's definitely the sound of the cables rattling against the inside of the frame.
So in my quest to make a quieter bike, I've chosen 3 options to purchase, and I have one wild card product that I might think about using. But I'm not exactly sure which one I'm going to use first. I first thought of this piping insulation. So it splits. It's got a pre-cut split, so you can pull it apart. I thought maybe pull it apart, slide it over in through the head tube, slide it around the cables, and hopefully it might seal itself up as it passes over where the cables meet. Another option that I had read about, somebody else using successfully, is the silicone window seals, and they have a little hole in them. So this would be more of a permanent solution, because I'd have to pull all the cables out of the frame and reroute them, but putting them through this first as it goes through the frame. That seems like a hell of a lot of work. What I think the ace in the hole is this basic air filter that you cut with scissors to make the proper size. I mean, shoot, talk about not adding any weight. I mean, it's an air filter weighing nothing. I mean, it's mostly air. It's designed to have air pass through it, so it can't be that heavy. But I think the air filter is going to be money. I think that would work great if you could get it to go on exactly as you needed it, and that seems like a heck of a lot of work. So I think I'm going to go with the air filter as the first option. And I think worst case scenario, you could just cut it up and just shove it in there and just hold the cable still. So I'm going to get to it. So this is the size piece I'm going to try and shove in there. So it's about 5 inches wide, I think, by about 18 or 20 inches wide. And I just used this Feedback Sports digital scale, which goes to 1/100 of a kilogram, and this didn't even register on it. So it's pretty light. That actually went in a lot easier than I thought it would. The whole thing's in, and all I did was I curled the piece up and shoved it in the bottom of the head tube, then took this 8mm hex wrench, and as I fed it in from the bottom of the head tube, I drove it down the down tube with a hex wrench and just kept feeding it in and driving it down. And it took all of, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half to get it all the way in there. So I can see the cables, and you probably can't see it, but the cables are sitting on top of it. I was hoping that because I curled it up and as I shoved it in there, that it might sit like a U in the down tube, and hopefully that's what it's doing. If it is, then the cables are sitting in the U, and it'll probably be quiet, but I won't really know until I get it on a trail. So you'll just have to stay tuned until the next trail ride.
Oh, not enough.
So much quieter now. And you might be thinking that these trails are smoother, but they're really not any smoother than the other one. The bike used to make the same amount of noise on this trail as it did on the other trails. But you can hear the odd cable slap from the two cables that weren't tied together in front of the bars. You'll still hear those every once in a while on these trails. But it's just quiet, and it's been ridden 4 or 5 times since putting that air filter in there, and it's dead quiet. It's so much nicer to ride. So there you have it. A $4 air filter can quiet down your carbon bike just like it did for me. And if you try to do this, I hope your success is as great as mine was. And as always, thanks for watching.